The key to a peace that will go down in history like a miracle is hidden in your very soul. While the voice of chaos rises in the earth, the call of the heavens for peace echoes only in your name. For all the struggles this world has seen, all the tears and prayers have been waiting for the awakening of the chosen one. When everyone is running out of hope, your presence is the seal of peace, the signature of tranquility. You are the silent hero of this era. With the edict of peace in your hands and a divine mission in your heart, only you have the key that will open the door to a ceasefire. With your courage, with your determination, humanity will step into a brand new era. Now all eyes are on that person who has been chosen by divine providence. Write 777 in the comments now. Only you can start the great peace that everyone is waiting for. Sometimes you don't realize the storm you've survived until the clouds break and the light reveals all that's been moving against you. What you faced wasn't just petty rivalry or harmless suspicion. It was a calculated chess game, where those closest to your roots hired outsiders to manufacture your ruin. The very people who shared your last name believed they could orchestrate your defeat, turning to someone trained in the shadows, paid to rewrite your story into one of guilt and disgrace. But as the truth crawls into the open, it's about to set off a chain reaction so explosive, entire legal systems will shake, and you'll finally see that you weren't just in the crosshairs, you were the single force standing in the way of a hidden predator's next target. Let's step back and see how this tangled web was spun, because the genesis of betrayal always hides the clues to the end game. While you lived your days unaware, 3 silent storms were brewing all around you, each storm gathering evidence, circling, and preparing to collide in a revelation so profound it'll upend everything you believed about the ones you thought you knew. It wasn't about small grievances or sibling rivalry. This was about a mountain of wealth waiting to be claimed, a legacy of homes, land, businesses, investments, and inheritance vast enough to tempt even the most self-righteous heart. In that wealth, a member of your clan saw more than their share. They saw destiny's invitation to take it all. In their own mind, they twisted the story. You were the deserter, the one who left them to bear the burdens, the one undeserving of the family crown. They justified their actions by painting themselves as the saint who stayed, the guardian who never abandoned their post, the sacrificial lamb. Every word they spoke in public, every sympathetic sigh for the neighbors, every crafted post online was calculated to fortify this myth of devotion and selflessness. But behind the curtains, long before they hired a shadowy hand to follow your every move, they'd already been building a secret dossier. They charted your movements like a hawk watches a field mouse, logging where you went, who you called, what you earned, who entered your orbit. They turned into architects of surveillance, piecing together your life into a blueprint they hoped to weaponize. Phone calls made under fake pretenses, devices hidden to follow your path, social profiles forged just to peer into your private world, all of it methodically tracked. They knew your rhythms, the hour your car left the driveway, your favorite stops, your patterns of living. They didn't just take notes, they crafted a narrative, even sending fake surveyors into your neighborhood to probe your character and routines under false smiles. The heart of the darkness wasn't just financial. The family elder, whose care was lauded in public, had not merely been the victim of old age or bad luck. The investigator found chilling proof. Each symptom, every bout of illness, had a designer's touch. Meals laced with things no one could see. Medicines swapped out and measured to cause a slow, steady spiral downward. The one everyone praised for their endless care was quietly carrying out a plan, painting themselves as the rescuer while playing the part of the destroyer. The plot was labyrinthine. Purchases made under phantom names, substances ordered to mimic the face of time itself, not a slip-up or rash move to raise suspicion. Every step, every hospital visit, every staged emergency was orchestrated to earn trust and deflect doubt. Medical staff applauded the caregivers' concern, never guessing they were cast as extras in a tragedy being scripted behind their backs. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. From the very first move, you were set up to be the villain of their drama. The threads of their plan stretch far into the past. Notes written with your name circled in accusation, online searches about poisons, loopholes in inheritance laws, strategies to dispute wills. To their confidants they complained, you never cared, never showed up, only loved the idea of money. They used every conversation as a building block in the fortress of their own innocence and your supposed guilt. You may not realize it, but while you walked through your days in good faith, someone was laying traps with the precision of a safecracker. Imagine a puppeteer rehearsing every scene, studying your habits so they could strike when your guard was down. They planned your absence like a thief studies the changing of the guard. Even your reactions, your fears, your instincts, they mapped them out, rehearsing their own performances for the moment your life would be turned upside down. With spare keys made on the sly, they invaded your sanctuary while you worked or traveled, placing little landmines of false proof, jars and papers, false trails of desperation, staged arguments captured on fake messages. Each detail was designed to cast you as the villain in a crime novel only they were writing. As technology never sleeps, it turned the tables in the quietest way. Cameras caught silent footage of this family member entering your home, slipping in and out like a shadow, their visits matching precisely with the moments you were far away. They disguised themselves, switched cars, but the digital eyes around your block never blinked. The screen told the truth that mouths would never confess. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. It's almost like a gardener tending a sacred orchard, but instead of nourishing the roots, they drip poison at night, hoping no one will see what's really happening beneath the surface. Where once there was trust blossoming like springtime branches, now there's a slow wilting, petals falling one by one, faith shriveling in the shadow of lies. This is what happens when someone moves through a family like a frost, whispering cold words into tender soil, turning fertile ground into a field of suspicion and sorrow. Sometimes when a person knows they can't build greatness on their own, they resort to tearing down the harvest of another. That's the spirit behind this deception. With every counterfeit story and every manipulated image, they didn't just try to rewrite your past, they tried to uproot your place in the family altogether. It's like they stood in the hallway at midnight, rehearsing false tales until they sounded like the truth, just so they could replay them again and again in the ears of someone too weak to separate memory from suggestion. What they couldn't understand is that spiritual inheritance isn't so easily erased. No matter how many weeds of doubt they sowed, they couldn't choke out the seed that's been planted in you by generations of resilience and faith. The more they schemed to exile you from the family circle, the more the universe itself began stirring on your behalf, setting things right in ways they never imagined possible. While your accuser carefully constructed scenes with digital tricks and twisted words, the divine was preparing a table in the presence of your enemies. There's a power in your story that refuses to bow to manipulation or be washed away by false narratives, even when the person you once called family was drawn into the fog of confusion, and their mind was clouded with suspicion. Something in your spirit remained clear, a beacon that could not be hidden, no matter how dark the night became. It's a hard lesson for anyone who tries to curse what God has blessed. The more they labor to bury the truth, the more it sprouts up in unexpected places. Their efforts to isolate you didn't result in your banishment. Instead, it revealed who was willing to destroy anything sacred just to keep their own secrets safe. The roots of your purpose run too deep to be poisoned by a jealous hand. Like a tree that weathers every season, your strength is not just in what's seen above the ground, but in what's hidden and holy beneath. It's a lot like someone trying to keep a candle from burning by piling on more wax, not realizing every layer just preserves the flame until it shines even brighter. What they tossed onto your path as stumbling blocks became stepping stones beneath your feet. They didn't see it coming. Each false word, every backdoor whisper meant to trip you up, only cleared the way for your purpose to stand taller. In this world, some folks will try to dig ditches, hoping you'll fall in and never get back up. But the same shovels they used to carve out your downfall just unearthed the treasure the Creator hid in you. What they called your weakness, heaven turned into your superpower. What they hoped would be the end of your story was actually the opening of a brand new chapter, one with your name written in bold at the top. See, when a chosen one's reputation is buried beneath lies, the divine doesn't send a rescue party, it sends rain. That rain turns every rumor, every accusation, every slanderous word into living water that causes your gifts to blossom. Just like seeds lying hidden beneath the cold ground, you needed that weight, that pressure, to break open and grow. What was meant as a curse became the very soil that fed your destiny. When the crowd tried to starve you of love and strip you of trust, your heart learned how to tap into a deeper well, the wellspring that never runs dry, the one the world can't take away. That's why, even when you felt alone, left out in the cold, the warmth of your spirit never faded. Those roots, anchored in faith, watered by hope, nourished by every promise ever spoken over your life, held firm. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. Let this be clear. Every negative word ever hurled your way, every cold shoulder, every door slammed in your face was just another layer of insulation protecting the miracle growing inside you. Your foundation, now thicker and richer because of the struggle, can bear more fruit than anyone could imagine. And the same people who thought they could prune you into nothing are about to witness a harvest that will leave them speechless. Don't worry about the ones who tried to dig your grave with gossip or pile on trouble like stones. The garden of your destiny is fenced in by favor, watched over by the divine, and fertilized by every attempt to take you down. Their efforts didn't bury you. They buried the illusion that anyone but God could write your story. What was intended as poison became pure nourishment. What looked like ruin is turning into a field of blessing. Absolutely. Let's expand this with a powerful new metaphor at the start, deepening the prosperity gospel preacher vibe while staying true to your request for simple, direct American English, maximum length, and full spiritual weight. Here's your completely reworked, expanded version. It's like the mighty oak tree, chosen one that begins as a single acorn buried in the dark, overlooked, dismissed, and covered by the earth. The world above might forget about that acorn, but deep down, there's a divine blueprint at work. Every drop of rain, every cold wind, every heavy footstep on the ground above is just one more reminder that the deepest roots grow in the dark before they ever reach the light. All the storms that roll over, all the mud that covers, and all the shadows that linger are nothing more than silent witnesses to the miracle taking place underground. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. People sometimes see only the surface, the storms, the setbacks, and they start to believe that darkness is the end of the story. But you were never meant to stay hidden, and you were never destined to be defeated by what tried to bury you. The opposition thought they were pressing you down, not realizing they were packing the soil tighter around your seed, giving your roots something strong to push against. What felt like rejection, what looked like a tomb, was actually the womb for your next season of glory. The dirt they thought would smother you became the cradle for your roots, the very thing that made you unshakable when the time came to rise. You are living proof, chosen one, that the Creator doesn't make mistakes. Every unfair word spoken against you, every closed door, every so-called setback, God used it all as building blocks for your testimony. Just as the oak grows tall, not in spite of the storms, but because of them, so have you found your strength not just in easy days, but in the struggle itself. Those who tried to break your spirit, who sowed discord, who scattered rumors and attempted to starve you of love, only succeeded in watering the hidden roots of your purpose. Some folks plant weeds and expect them to choke out the harvest, but they don't know that God can make flowers bloom in the cracks of the pavement. Each rumor was a rock that pressed down on you, but it also shielded your roots from scorching sun and kept you anchored when the winds blew hardest. They poured on their negativity, hoping you'd wither, but instead, you drew every ounce of strength from the struggle, sending your roots deeper than ever before. The more they tried to heap on, the more nourishment you pulled from the soil. When night falls and the world grows cold, that's when the chosen truly find out what they're made of. In those lonely hours, when it seems like you're all alone in the dark, the voice of the Spirit whispers the truth. This darkness is not punishment, it's preparation. The seeds of destiny do their most important work where no eye can see and no hand can interfere. And while your critics slept easy, thinking the job was done, the Creator was breathing life into every cell, shaping the kind of resilience that cannot be taught, only grown. You became a living sermon, not by standing in the sunlight, but by flourishing in the shadows. The slander, the cold shoulders, the half-truths thrown your way, they became the compost, the mulch, the rich soil that produced a harvest no enemy could have predicted. The harder they tried to bury you, the stronger your roots became. They didn't realize they were fertilizing your faith, and every ounce of dirt they threw became the very medium God used to display His glory through your life. There's an old saying, what they meant for evil, God turned for good, and you're the walking, talking example of that truth. Your journey wasn't designed to be easy. It was meant to reveal a deeper power, a higher calling, and a testimony that rings louder than any lie. Those who plotted behind closed doors, thinking they could erase your influence, ended up boosting your story further than their words ever could reach. The storms meant to scatter you only made you sprout higher, stretch wider, and shine brighter. If you look back, you'll see every hardship was a hidden lesson, every rejection a redirection, every loss a setup for a greater victory. The universe itself bent around your persistence, and heaven took note every time you chose grace over bitterness, truth over retaliation, and purpose over pain. Your legacy is not a fragile flower easily uprooted. It's a mighty tree, branches outstretched, sheltering generations beneath its shade. It's not by accident that you've endured. Your roots were chosen for this soil. Your branches meant to break through every limit the world tried to place on you. As the sun rises on this new chapter, all will witness that you were prepared for such a time as this. You didn't just survive the winter, you grew through it. You didn't just outlast the drought, you stored up enough faith to nourish yourself and others in every season to come. And now, as the world watches, every eye that once looked down on you will see you standing taller than ever before. Your shade will offer rest to the weary, your fruit will nourish the hungry, and your testimony will ignite hope in all who feel lost beneath the weight of their own storms. What was meant to end you has only multiplied you. What was thrown to bury you became the cornerstone of your unshakable foundation. So take heart, chosen one. The same hands that molded you in obscurity are the hands that will now raise you in victory. You are not the sum of what others said or did. You are the living proof that destiny cannot be cancelled, that calling cannot be revoked, and that a true anointing flourishes no matter who tries to dig it up. Every shadow, every trial, every lonely night has led to this moment where your story, once covered in dirt, bursts forth in bloom for all to see. The harvest ahead will not just feed you, but generations. Your legacy, rooted in divine favor, will stretch across time, nourishing those who come after you and standing as a testament to the unstoppable power of purpose. All those hands that tried to bury you didn't realize they were planting a miracle, and now it's harvest time. The world will soon see what heaven always knew. You were never finished. You were just getting started. Let them see the orchard bloom again, greater, stronger, more beautiful than ever. Let them stand amazed as every false accusation falls to the ground, powerless, and the legacy of blessing multiplies in your hands. Because no frost, no darkness, no poison can halt the spring that's been promised to you, chosen one. The fruit of your spirit, watered by generations, will feed not only you, but all who come after. That is your inheritance. That is the legacy that not even the craftiest betrayer can steal. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to his plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, his protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of his divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as his mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. But in a twist worthy of a detective novel, the very investigator hired to destroy you turned out to have their own house built on sand. Their ledger was full of secrets, crimes with many faces, fortunes hidden behind fake names, and doors that led to nowhere. Offshore accounts, phantom businesses, shell games with paperwork. The detective's whole world was made of mirrors and shadows. And your family member, not satisfied with their own schemes, uncovered every corner of this dark underworld, chronicling meetings with shady partners, catching money changing hands, capturing conversations that could topple empires. The threat was not an idle one. Evidence packs sat ready, addressed to every agency with the power to end a career. Every detail, numbers, names, photos, statements, was organized for maximum leverage. It was blackmail by blueprint. Either bury you or be buried themselves. The investigator had no space to breathe. Forced to sift through your life for flaws, they were desperate to find a crack that could be exploited. Anything to build a false case against you for the crime that haunted the family. But truth, even when pressed under a mountain of lies, has a way of pushing back. Every document, every bank stamp, every timestamp told the same story. You were never there when darkness fell. Phone signals placed you in the clear. Security feeds painted you innocent. You had left tracks of kindness, offering help, seeking second opinions, wanting better care for someone who mattered. Every attempt to support your relative had been stonewalled by the one who wanted the stage all to themselves. In the end, the net they cast for you ensnared only the hands that wove it. Let me know if you'd like this extended or dramatized further. Every image, metaphor, and progression can be deepened or given a new twist to fit the intensity or mood you want. Not everyone can see how many separate streams can converge into a tidal wave when the moment is right. Sometimes, just when chaos reaches its peak, events braid themselves together with perfect timing, forces aligning in ways no one saw coming. That's what's happening here. Hidden agendas, buried secrets, and personal awakenings are all colliding to create an outcome no one can deny. At the heart of this transformation, there are always a few souls who know the terrain because they walked through their own storms first. It's not about being marked for disaster, but about surviving the flames and coming out carrying the blueprint for a better way. There's a gathering for those who feel the world has pressed them too hard, who carry wisdom earned through scars, not textbooks. Imagine a circle where every face carries a different story. A tech genius who left the boardroom for meditation in the mountains, a healer who once escaped a labyrinth of darkness, a veteran who swapped weapons for inner vision, a mystic who left behind their old certainties to embrace a new truth. Each found their own crossroad and chose the path of meaning over comfort. These people bring more than their stories. They bring the courage to show up, share openly, and hold space for others to grow. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. No one travels this path alone. In this community, Every lesson is recorded and preserved, so no one is left out in the cold. Whenever doubt creeps in, when you feel like you're crawling on hands and knees through the mud of your own awakening, you can tap into this field and remember, there are others who have been through the fire too, and their presence still radiates support even through a screen. This sanctuary isn't open to everyone, but if you recognize a reflection of your journey here, you might just belong. If you can see yourself in this tapestry of transformation, there's a place for you. The invitation is open to those who hear the call.